Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. I am standing on the edge of a storm and it's very dramatic. The wind is sort of starting to pick up and I'm on a lake in northern Wisconsin, and I don't know if you can see, but there's some little waves going on back here. And I wanted to jump out here and film in the front of the storm because I thought it was a really good energy for us to begin our conversation this week about what's going on in the celestial weather as well as obviously the physical weather. The sun moves into the gate 15 on Wednesday, and when I talk about human design and I talk about human design and the planetary movements in the context of creativity, what we understand about the year as it evolves is that the year itself has four main creative quarters. We are in the middle of the quarter that is about tending to your garden of your creativity, meaning we're in a cycle of the year where we are looking at what's working and what doesn't. We have seeded our dreams for the year. They are taking root, they are taking hold, and now we're doing the work, the maintenance, to make sure that the seeds grow strong and healthy. So we're plucking the weeds and we're watering and we're tending to the garden. That's sort of the metaphor we're working with right now. In the middle of every creative quarter of the year, we cross what's called the cross of the vessel of love, which is what begins this year with this energy of the summer solstice. The cross of the vessel of love tells us and gives us the energy to, in the middle of every creative cycle, recalibrate our creative path, or recalibrate our creative intentions with the energy of love. When you look at the human design chart, and if you haven't gotten your human design chart, you can get your human design chart at my website, understandinghumandesign.com. When you give us your birthday, birth time, and birthplace, we'll actually hand calculate a chart for you and send it to you along with a free report. When you look at the human design chart, which is basically a synthesis of esoteric wisdom and modern science, and is a collection of all the archetypes that it comprise this experience of being human, it's also a template. It's a template for what's possible for us as humans. And when we look at this template, we see in the center of this chart a diamond, and that diamond, called the identity center, or the G center, is the center for love and direction in the chart. Our life path, our direction, our potential as humans is defined by the energies featured in that G center, in that diamond. And those energies tell us that one of the main directional forces in our life, in the gate 15, is the gate that brings us the dynamic or the possibility that we are designed to create and take direction from the highest expression of compassion and sharing. We are, of course, designed to take care of ourselves. We are, of course, designed to nurture ourselves and to love ourselves and to do whatever we need to do so that we ourselves are the foundation for whatever we end up building and sharing with the world. But if we're not creating in alignment with compassion, and if what we're intending to create isn't also serving the greater good, then it is not by nature going to be sustainable. Will burn out, or it won't last, it won't be enduring, it won't be something that builds strongly and sustainably over time. So when we have this cycle with this creative juice in the middle of it, what we're really being given is an opportunity to say, okay, I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, I understand my path. What can I do to take the highest expression of who I am? How can I take that expression and use it to be of service to the world? How can I share who I am with the world with compassion? What gifts do I have? What do I bring to the table? What can I give to the world to make this world a better place? Where do I have excess that I can share? If you don't want to do compassion, do sharing. The 15 is a really, really interesting energy, and I just want to flesh it out for a minute because it's an energy in the chart that has a lot of different meanings and a lot of different potential expressions. It's an energy that is connected to rhythm, and actually the entire channel that it belongs to is the channel of natural rhythm. Now, nature has rhythms. Nature has rhythms that are consistent. So when we think about sunrise, sunset, or the seasons, or the pieces of the earthly cycle that are predictable and always seem to repeat. For example, we tend to harvest in the fall of our year, whatever that may be, whatever hemisphere you're in, right? We have predictable patterns and rhythms in nature that give us the capacity to predict what's next. The 15 is called extremes in rhythm, and the energy of the 15 actually causes extreme changes in those rhythms. So when we look at nature and the extremes in nature, nature has earthquakes and fire. In fact, fire is really, really important in forest cycles, because when you have fire, it actually causes, first of all, it burns away all the stuff that doesn't serve you, which is something for you to pay attention to this week. It also will oftentimes cause pine cones to open up and crack open and release their seeds. In fact, there's some species of pine trees that need fire, like the Douglas fir needs fire in order to go to seed. So the extremes in nature bring realignment. And if you think about extremes in nature in terms of humans, when we have extremes in nature, such as earthquakes, tornadoes, fires, etc., that's when we tend to unify ourselves in the name of compassion, right? We have the Red Cross, we have volunteers that go in and help people who have been affected by disaster. So extreme energies in natural cycles tend to bring us together, tend to bring us back to the connection of our human siblinghood, right? We connect with our divine brothers and sisters. It brings back this power of compassion to unify us. So when this energy comes through, even though it's extreme, and this week certainly gives us the potential to have or to experience extreme events, that those extreme events are not about destruction. They're very much like the energy of Kali, right? It's destruction for the sake of creating fertile ground to deepen the capacity for us to grow something juicier, something more delicious, something more healthy, and for us to continue to make sure that whatever it is that we are growing is rooted in compassion. So it's extreme compassion, it's extreme connection, it's extremes in rhythm, but everything about this energy, the extreme nature of it, is sort of cataclysmic. It's about the extremes that bring us back to heart, the extremes that bring us back to truth. And when we can look at that energy this week and say, where have there been these awakenings, these extreme events that have brought me back to heart, or what do I need to do to get back into the heart of who I am so that I can share the heart of who I am with the world? Now, this energy always travels in the sun and the earth in companionship with the gate 10. So the earth is transiting through the gate 10, which is also an energy that can be a little dodgy. And so this combination sometimes can be pretty powerful. The 10 is the gate of self-love, is the gate of self-empowerment. It's also an energy that in the low expression can be blaming and victimhood. And so when you have extreme events married with the potential for there to be the energy of victimhood or blaming, you can see that there's a little bit of dodgy, spicy energy with that. So again, the theme this week is to ask yourself, where are these places of extreme? How have these places of extreme awakened me back to the heart of who I am? And how can I use this heart energy, this heart place that is my guiding star, the part of who I am and how I create in the world? How can I use this energy to teach the world, bring the world, empower the world back to self-empowerment, self-love? How can I use the essence of who I am in a place of service? And how can I dive deeper, dig deeper, and really look at, are there places where you are allowing yourself still to slide into the energy of victimhood, where you are giving away your power because you're not loving yourself enough? Are there places where you're still holding on to stories where you're blaming, and those blaming stories are causing you to erode away your own power base and diminish not only your capacity to create for your own self, but actually ultimately diminishing your capacity to create for the greater good of the whole? Sometimes when we stay in that victimhood place, because it causes us ultimately to be deeply selfish in a destructive way, it can sometimes take us away also from compassion. We say, I want this for me, because we feel that we are not enough and we don't share, we don't give, we don't contribute, because we're holding on too tightly for what we think we need or what we may be overcompensating for. So good week this week to ask yourself, where are you on a scale of 0 to 10 with how much you love yourself? Do you need to amp that up a little bit? Where are you at with your sense of self-empowerment? Again, where are you at with your heart? What do you need to create so that you can be in a more generous place of sharing and trusting in the flow, the natural flow of nature and abundance? And I would just lovingly and gently say, this is beautiful, beautiful energy. It's very catalytic, very recalibrating, a good way to start the summer, right? Summer's got that fire energy, a good way to burn away stuff that's not working. And be careful. Sometimes this energy, particularly in this combination, can be really intense. And it can be extreme blaming or extreme events that cause us to lose connection with our heart when we get afraid that maybe we don't have enough. So be mindful this week that maybe some deep breathing, watch that pointer finger. If you start to point it out at other people, make sure you take it to the bathroom mirror and point it back at yourself, and make sure you're not blaming people for things that maybe you need to be owning. And take care of yourselves, and then let's take care of each other. Have a great week. Stay warm and dry.